So we are almost completely done with the Wasteland region. There's only really two more quests for us to complete in this place, both of which are going to be located kind of out of the way for us. The first one of which is going to be located over here because you may notice this landmark over here and how maze-like it looks. So we're going to set a beacon over there so we can go take care of that. And as we go across this area, I'd like to talk a little bit more about the Gorons that we just met. More specifically, the fact that they mentioned something called a Super Gut Check Challenge. I would not be demonstrating this in the Let's Play because it's kind of pointless, because it's more or less going to be the same as the regular Gut Check Challenge, which we've already taken care of in a previous episode. The only big change is that it costs more for you to do, and you have to collect more rubies to be able to finish it. Like, I'll probably have a run of it on screen right now, just for the sake of showing it off, but we're not going to be dedicating time to actually demonstrating that. Ooh, Bird Shadow. We're not going to be dedicating a set amount of time to go and play through that again, because as fun as the gut check challenge is, there is a limit to how much I want to do it, admittedly. And you know what? That is one thing I will have to say that's a little bit of a negative side about Breath of the Wild, is that I don't think the minigames are all that fun. The minigames in Zelda, for the most part, they were usually rewards for you. They were usually challenges for you to collect heart pieces and things like that. But because there are no heart pieces in this game, it kind of feels like the minigames don't really have that much of a point to them anymore. Now, I'm sorry, that's probably just a problem that I have. They're definitely a lot more useful in terms of like hunting for, in terms of like grinding for rubies and things like that. But when it comes to what they used to be used for, it's honestly just the minigames just don't really seem like there's that much of a point to them in this game. I made a wrong turn, and I'm going to go this way instead. As we go across this area, I would just like to say that what we're going to be coming across next is something that is very noteworthy, because there's only a few things like this in the entire game. I believe there's either 3 or 4 of them. I think there's 3. We will be taking care of every single one of them in the game, because this is 100% Let's Play after all. But just know that we're not going to be coming across another maze like this for a little while. So, on the card on the corner of the screen, it will take you to a future video where we do take care of those mazes. So, I was thinking about doing a video that just took care of all of them in one video, but the thing is, they're all kind of out of the way. They're pretty far away from each other. So to do that, we'd have to wait until we open up the other regions that they're located in. We've already opened up the Akala region, and there's a maze over there, but the other region we haven't seen yet, and we're not going to see it for a little while. So we've already come this close to finishing up everything in the Wasteland region anyway, so we might as well do it now. And welcome to the South Lomei Labyrinth. To you sets foot here, my blessing awaits you at the labyrinth's end. The Desert Labyrinth. Now, you may think that you may be able to cheat this because you can't see the layout on the map, and if you have enough stamina, you will be able to climb up to the wall of these things, and you'll be able to kind of take shortcuts that way. The problem with that, though, is that it requires a lot of stamina, which we do not have, and we probably could go to the mountains nearby to take care of that, but the thing with that is that also requires stamina and patience, and I have no patience. So we'll be taking care of this legitimately, and for the fun of it, I did practice for this, but I didn't practice extensively, so we may still get lost in this maze, so that's going to be fun. Our objective is going to be located down there, and as we saw over there, that is a dead end. So we had to figure out some other way to go across this area. Now, before we do that, we are actually going to be taking care of the treasure chests in this area first, because there are 5 treasure chests in this labyrinth, and we will be getting every single one of them. And as for our general advice for what you can do in the shrine itself, or the labyrinth, I should say, my general advice is keep the camera pointing upwards more so than usual, because the labyrinth will be playing tricks on you. You may think that it's going to be a straightforward path to the shrine. No, it's going to be a lot of twists and turns and things like that, so you definitely want to be careful. And having the camera pointing upwards so you can see secret passageways is going to be very helpful for you. Hooray for editing, because somebody called me in the middle of recording stuff. It's like, every single time I try to record lately, something interrupts it, no matter how many times I give people a heads up that I'm going to record stuff, it drives me crazy. Anyway, enough about all that stuff, because we can go over here and, oh, a radiant shield, but we can't carry it because our inventory is full. Oh no, whatever are we going to do? So I'm definitely going to upgrade my inventory before we go into the next story segment of this area. So let's go over this way now. And what I recommend you do, alongside looking up the camera more, I recommend frequently going into this menu, because even though you do have a mini-map, it does rotate when you move the camera. I do believe there is an option to freeze that, but I'm too lazy to do that, so I'm not going to be changing the camera or anything like that, besides you have a little compass thingy that says which way north is anyway, so hopefully that helps you. We could pick up the Moblin Club, but I didn't feel like it. So let's head over this way. This is usually what I do whenever I go through these labyrinths. I like looking over the exterior of this area to see if there's any openings for me to go through. Because more often than not, that's usually where they're going to have the treasure chests and things like that, and I'm going to try to get all the treasure chests in these areas. I have made it clear throughout the Let's Play that I don't particularly care that much about, like, actually getting every single treasure chest in the game, because it would be impossible to keep track of. But the ones in the labyrinths, I definitely will try to make the effort to get every single one of them. So let's head over this way now. I believe there should be another treasure chest somewhere within this area. Or maybe not. Okay, well, it's worth mentioning that in this area, there is an opening to come down here if you were climbing through the top of the labyrinth. I probably will demonstrate that in a future labyrinth at some point in the Let's Play. Just not right now, because it's probably not a good idea to do that for the very first labyrinth we come across. I know there's a treasure chest in this area. Where is it? I usually have a pretty good sense of direction whenever it comes to things like this, so I don't usually get lost too often. I'm pretty good at remembering which directions I took to get to a place that I'm currently located at, and also when it comes to directions and things like that, I also have my capture card run out of memory. Everything that could possibly go wrong during this recording session is happening! My goodness! I'll see you in a moment. Don't worry, you didn't miss much. We just jumped across this area. So now to continue across these areas, and we got our next treasure chest. It's super shiny, and that's the one that I was thinking of a moment ago. Whee! Alright, so I believe that's all the treasure chests in this area. Actually, there might be a few more. Just looking over our notes. No, there's not. Okay, cool. So I didn't actually write down the location of the treasure chest or anything like that. They're more so telling me how many are in a set area before I move on and things like that. Because it is fun to still figure things out, but I also don't want the notes to say every single step of figuring things out, because that's just not fun. Another hole for you to drop down if you want to go from that area, if you want to go from the top of the shrine. So, let's go over this way. I believe the next one is around here. Yep, okay. I was thinking... I couldn't remember exactly where this one was. But it's a... There's a bow over there if you want it. I don't need it because, first of all, I think our inventory is full anyway. So it'd be kind of pointless to try and go for that right now. But it's there if you want it because it's shiny and I like shiny. More shiny! Woo! Alright. I believe that was 3 treasure chests. The one in the corner. The one... Yeah, those 3 treasure chests. Cool. So now I'm looking over this way. And this right here, there's a big reason why I wanted to make it clear to try to keep the camera up pretty high as we go across this area. Because this is an area we've been through before, but we couldn't see that cave over there. Or that entrance. That's not a cave, that's an entrance. Words are difficult. Words are dumb and things like that. So, the English language is stupid, isn't it? So, just, so many weird rules about pronunciations and things like that. And the biggest thing that's really dumb about English is that there are so many words that are spelled the same, but you pronounce them differently depending on circumstances and things like that. And there's also words that sound similar, but they're also pronounced differently. It's dumb. English is dumb. Right, so that's 4 treasure chests now, and I believe the final one is going to be located up this way somewhere. It is not. We need to go around the other way. Let's go over here. I believe this is something we want to remember a little bit later. Yep, this area. This is what I was thinking of. We'll come back into that place in a moment. Or not, because the engine's right here. There's a treasure chest that I still want to go find real quick. So let's go look for that before we move onwards. Probably not the best idea to go across this area, but you know what? We have Mifo's Grace, so if we die, then we'll be okay, probably. Is this what I was thinking of when I wrote that? No? Yes, it is. Okay. There's one more thing in this place that we haven't found yet. I don't think we did. But we'll double check that in a moment. But first, let's go over here and collect our sweet, sweet wood. Dila Maag Shrine. To use as fun the shrine, I am Dila Maag. By entering this place, you've already proven your worth. We did it! We did the thingy! Please, for the love of all pineapples, do not be a bow or a shield. Ooh, barbarian armor. Armor once favored by an ancient warlike tribe from the Faron region. The warpaint bolsters your fighting spirit and raises your attack power. This is one of the most noteworthy pieces of armor in the entire game because there's some really cool lore behind it when we get to the Faron region that I'll be talking about when we get to that point. Now, obviously, we haven't been to the Faron region yet, so we are not going to talk about that. Just to know, this is a very interesting piece of lore for Zelda fans. You have done well to arrive at the shrine. I did get a chance to finish the text box because you were talking too much. Late Garrett, you, how dare you? In the name of Goddess Hyla, I bestow upon you the spirit orb. Skip! Seriously, Lady Garrett, you? Why would you skip the dialogue after you're already done reading it? Skip! So let's go over this way, and now that we can see that we've finished the shrine, the gateway that was blocking us from going there is now opened, so that's pretty cool. I'm gonna look around the labyrinth real quick because I think we missed one treasure chest. I don't remember off the top of my head if we got that one or not. My memory is not the best thing in the world, but we're gonna look over there anyway. Alright, ignore that because we already got all the treasure chests in the labyrinth, so that was pointless. Yay! So with all that taken care of, we have one more shrine that I'd like to take care of, and it's going to be located towards the top of those mountains over there. And now we reached our destination, and I gotta say, why is this mountain so pixelated? I don't know why this wall texture of all things looks so pixelated, but it honestly just doesn't really look that good. And I feel bad for saying that because this game otherwise has a very beautiful art style, but for whatever reason, that specific wall just looks very out of place and very low quality, and it looks very distracting. So now we approach to this area, and we can see the Divine Beast of Arnaburus firing the laser at Hyrule Castle. This is a beautiful sight, by the way. Just seeing just how far Hyrule stretches off in the distance. We can see Death Mount. There's a wall right here. Should probably watch where I'm going. We can see the Great Plateau down there somewhere. We can see Death Mountain over there. We could see the Akata Sadado Ruins. That's that giant tower off in the distance over there. We could see Hateno Village way over there. It's just amazing just how far you're able to see in this game. That's one thing that I absolutely love about Breath of the Wild, that is that you can see pretty much every major landmark in the game whenever you want. It's kind of like a Disneyland situation when you think about it, because the thing with Disneyland is that all the major areas of the parks have landmarks to draw you into those worlds. Like Disneyland, for example, the original park has Cinderella Castle that draws you into the center, and then from there you can see beyond the castle, which takes you to Fantasyland. You see Big Thunder Mountain, which takes you into which takes you into Frontierland. Space Mountain, which takes you into Space Mountain, which takes you into Tomorrowland, things like that. It's kind of like a similar system. It's kind of like a similar setup here, because whenever we go through this game, we see all these mountains that kind of draw us into the area, because the big thing with this game is that the climbing is so much fun, so you want to climb to the top of all the mountains to try and get a great view of the place. And then when you get to the top of the view, you see all sorts of landmarks that you want to go off and explore. Like looking at that right now, I want to go explore the Great Plateau, even though we have no reason to go back there right now. It's just, the way they designed this game's world is just so incredible. And I've played a few other open world games, probably not to this scale, but if you want an example of what we're talking about next, you can play Chronicles X. As great of a game as that is, my problem with that game is that it's kind of a little too big, because that is an open world planet, but when you have a world that's just that huge, it's kind of hard to feel inclined to go off and explore other regions, because you can't really see them, because they're just so far away. I think this game definitely strikes a great balance of having just a big enough world where you can see everything that you want to go to and things like that. It's truly incredible. So let's go down here. Well, that was cool. We can go down here, and we can see there's a cottage right here. Looks like it's been abandoned for quite a while. And there's a book. Read the Mountain Peak log, first page. This is a log of my findings concerning the shrine that sleeps on a snowy Gerudo Peak. Discovery log day 1. I come to the snowy mountain intending to find the ancient shrine that was written about in an old text. The shrine slumbers near the pedestal on a snowy Gerudo Peak. I believe I arrived at the pedestal mentioned in the passage. Discovery log day 7. It's been 7 days since I arrived at the pedestal mentioned in the ancient texts. Unfortunately, I'm eating through my food provisions more quickly than I anticipated. On a brighter note, I found an explanation in the source text that may be the key to this riddle. When the snowy mountain pedestal glows, it casts a cold shadow onto its core. I've noticed a faint glow to the pedestal for a short while each day, but how to cast a cold shadow onto its core? It seems this calls for further research here. Discovery log day... I've lost count. I can feel that I'm a hair's breadth away from unlocking the secrets hidden within this pedestal. I'm certain that casting and cold refer to using a specific type of shadow, but I've run out of food entirely, and I doubt now that I ever have the tools for the job, whatever that may be. Secret of the Snowy Peaks. So let's look around the area for that pedestal. It's right there. That's convenient. So, we don't really get to know who actually wrote that. We don't know who wrote the journal or anything like that. We don't know if it was Gerudo or some other explorer. My theory is that it's that one lady, I think her name is Tracy, who writes the rumor mills. I think that was her because we don't really know a whole lot of other explorers willing to go to a place dangerous like this, but we've seen time and time again that Tracy is willing to go and explore places like this. So that's my personal theory. It's probably not an accurate theory, but if there's anything else that's proving something that's more obvious about this and I'm just missing, hinting that it could be somebody else, then that's what the captions on screen are going to be used for. And if not, then I don't know, I'll write like a quadratic function or something like that. I don't know what captions I'm going to use. Alright, so as we go across this area, one thing I'd like to advise you on before I explain how to actually do this puzzle, what we want to do is, one thing I'd like to do is I try to make the snowball as big as I possibly can, but not too big so I can't carry it. So what we want to do is, somewhere around this time frame, at least if I'm reading my notes correctly, somewhere around this time frame is going to be when the time for the pedestal is going to start glowing. So my advice is to roll the snowball down the mountain so that it can get just a little bit bigger, and eventually, a little bit after 4 o'clock p.m., the pedestal will start glowing. When that happens, pick up the snowball and make sure the shadow is big enough to cover the circular part of the pedestal, and then after that's taken care of, you'll be able to cling the sweet, sweet wood. Now I really like this shrine, and it's kind of silly why, because I figured out most of this game on my own time during my first playthrough of this game, but this one I felt especially smart going through. Like, I finished this shrine, and I felt particularly proud of myself for figuring this one out on my own, and it was just a really good feeling all around. Oh, another blessing shrine. Who would have seen that coming? Skip. Suma Sama's blessing. Moonlight Scimitar. I really hope I pronounced that correctly, and I feel really bad if I'm not. What can we get rid of? I don't need 2 of these things. Goodbye, boomerang. Yeah, boomerang. Oh, boomerang. Wait, you actually letting me read my text for once? Oh, thank you. You have done well to... Oh, there it goes. In the name of Goddess Hylia? Yeah, just skip it. The moment's passed. Oh, the poor monks are never going to get a chance to finish reading their text. May the goddess smile upon you, or whatever. Okay, now get out of here. And with that, we have finished the Wasteland region. Except for Koroks, but we haven't recorded that yet. We have finished all the side quests, every story progress, and all the shrines across the Wasteland region, and it's just a really good feeling, but also kind of a bittersweet one because I just absolutely love this place so much. So that's going to be it for this episode of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The options are where to go next, in the next video in the playlist, where we're going to be exploring the Gerudo region and finishing up everything over there. The alternate route, however, is to continue the main story and leave the Wasteland region and continue on your merry way to your path of glory. You can also look for the Wasteland Koroks if you'd like, or ignore everything and go straight for Calamity Ganon. So thank you all so much for watching this episode of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Lovely gear to you, and where would you like to go to next?